Normally, the meetings that we have them with our ambassadors, but today we decided to do it differently, to invite everyone who is part of our community to participate in this program. So you are welcome. My name is Laswet. I'm one of the team members here at ZIMBOCASH, and with me is other team members and our ambassadors. They will introduce themselves. We are quite a team. They will introduce themselves when it's their turn to speak. So thank you for making the meeting. The agenda of the meeting, I'm sure we all got the agenda from the invitation. We are starting with an update from the team, and we will tell you where we are at, and then the next steps. We are also discussing the buying and selling of ZASH. And we are also going to talk about platforms that have come up where people are either buying and selling ZASH or selling goods and services using ZASH. And we'll also get time for feedback from you all. And in terms of, and then lastly, we are going to get to the question and answer segment. And the way we are going to do it, we will have people in the question and answer segment, because we are many, it might be confusing to give each other a chance to speak. So you will see that in this Zoom platform, there is an option for you to type a message. The only messages that will be typed there during the question and answer are questions which the team would then answer. Unless it is really vital for you to ask your question without typing in there, then we will do so. This is just to make sure that it is orderly, because we are going to be more than 100 people. All right, so I will give over to Philip, who is our communications lead. He is in charge of all our public-facing communication. And he will introduce himself. He will tell you about ZIMBOCASH, where we have come from, where we are, and the next steps. Philip, over to you.
Thanks, Laswet. I'm going to put on the video briefly so you can see me. It's really difficult well, it's not difficult as much as it's an honor and a privilege to be engaging with such a large community. As Laswet mentioned, my name is Philip Haslam. I'm the head of communications at ZIMBOCASH, and I'm one of the members of the team. And it's been such a wonderful journey, and we are so privileged to be talking and presenting with you today. In fact, we are so excited. So for those of you who are new to ZIMBOCASH, let me just tell you a little bit about us. We are establishing a decentralized currency for Zimbabwe. Basically, we are creating what we call sound money, and that's money that is fixed in supply. It's we believe that money printing causes inflation, and inflation is very destructive for people's lives. And the opposite is true, is that when you fix the supply of money, you actually cause a blessing in people's lives. People are able to trade and are able to save in money that they can trust. And that's our goal. We want to create an alternative currency for Zimbabwe, and we've been operating for almost 2 years, a year and a half. It was about about 2 years ago when we had initial discussions with the Zimbabwe government, and then we started our launch process in terms of accepting signups in November of 2018. And it was very slow. We actually have a few people on this call who joined us in November, and they were part of the initial signups and got 100,000 at that stage. Our allocations halve every 3 months, and so as more people join the community, amounts allocated decrease. That's good. I don't know if you want to mute everyone there.
Yes, I'm doing that. Others are joining in and immediately put on their mics, but I'm busy muting people.
Excellent, thank you. So, we've had almost 7 quarters of allocations, and as many of you will know, we recently we created our token, the ZASH token. We did a whole a Twitter campaign, and we voted in terms of what the name would be for the token, and we created it on the Tron network, which is a decentralized cryptocurrency platform. And we fixed the supply at 4.5 billion tokens. We worked it out to be, around about the right number, which we estimated based on what would be the right number of tokens to facilitate trade across Zimbabwe. We then worked very hard on listing it on an exchange, and we managed to get our first listing on Bithumb Global, which is a major, one of the big tier cryptocurrency exchanges globally, and does something to the order of $4 billion a month worth of trade on the exchange. So we were very privileged to get the listing, and there was a lot of work that the team had to do to get that completed. And we now have a listed price. You can go on to Bithumb Global and you can see a ZASH market price. So that's really great. But the third aspect of our growth has been that we've needed to basically integrate our cryptocurrency token, the ZASH token, into what's called a payments gateway. Basically, we want an online bank account where you can go online and you can see your balance, and you be able to pay people like you would any normal bank account. And there would be a multi-factor authentication and all the good stuff that you would expect from a bank account. And so our team's been working very, very hard on that. And as you will have seen, we launched last week in terms of our payments infrastructure, and everything was working great. We love it. We're so proud of it. Most of the people that have come onto our infrastructure are very proud of it. This is something it's not some large corporate that's organized this. It's a collection of individuals who are passionate about Zimbabwe, who want to see change in this beautiful nation. So we've launched this payments infrastructure. What it does is it allows you to actually see your wallet, and you can actually click and you can go into the underlying blockchain and actually see the transactions taking place on the blockchain. We needed to be honest. We've been absolutely amazed by the take up and the energy and excitement that people have had for the ZimboCash token and the launch of the payments infrastructure. In a week, we had 92,000 transactions. There were times where we were facilitating 30 transactions in a second. No, sorry, not a second, 30 transactions in a minute. 30 transactions in a minute. That's about 1 every 2 seconds. And you can just imagine like the number of people actually making payments. It's been incredible. And I think the thing that we've been so proud of is that typically what happens with most technologies is that that you can develop any form of technology on a small scale, but it's when you start scaling to a large degree that you you begin to see problems in your system. And our system has been working like a well-oiled machine. We've been very, very proud of our IT developers. They've been working very hard. In fact, there's not a person on our team that hasn't been working like most nights and weekends for the last several months. And so we're very proud of the system. As many of you will know, we on Monday we had to take the system down to do some further work on it. I mean, just to give you some background detail on this, and we'll be giving some further detail in our fireside chat. One of the critical components of what it is that we do is we have to find Zimbabweans uniquely and allocate ZimboCash to them. And the rules of the system have to be fair. And if people can find ways around the system and begin allocating more tokens to themselves, then it becomes unfair and it loses the sense of network and the sense of community. We discovered that some people were working their way around the system. Ultimately, we were relying on this concept that, you know, you can use a cell phone number as a proxy for identity. But in Zimbabwe, actually, it turns out you can get multiple cell phone accounts quite easily, and people were breaking the system. And so we've had to take the system, the payment system, down for the time being, and we will be we'll be updating it to include some form of know your customer, you know, identification, which will include ID documents and probably some sort of facial recognition technology. Most of these things will be third-party applications that we will be using. You know, it's not our goal to have to get a lot of information about people. At the end of the day, we actually have to give people, we have to provide as part of our commitment to Zimbabweans, part of our commitment to our community is that each person who gets allocated ZimboCash is a valid Zimbabwean. What we can't have is a bunch of sort of Russians and Chinese people signing up accounts en masse, and we allocate ZimboCash tokens. I mean, the reality is ZimboCash is fixed in supply, and so we want to be very careful about who we allocate it to and about creating this network of buyers and sellers. I think just one more thing to add, possibly a few other things to add. Many people have asked us, you know, how do we sell our token on Bitham Global? And, you know, we just want to kind of emphasize that the whole heart and passion of what it is that we've been doing has been to establish a currency system that people can use by trading between themselves with reference to a market price. You see, if you went to another country, you'd initially start, you'd see you might see something on the shelves. So let's say you came, let's say you went to, I don't know, any country, United States, and you went into the store and there was a price, it was $2.50. First thing you would do is you'd pull out your calculator and you'd work out what's the exchange rate and you would multiply it by the price. And you'd begin to understand what that value means to you. But after about a month of living in the country, you would have an interesting mindset shift that takes place in your mind, and you would begin to price your goods and services in dollars or in rands or wherever it is that you're living. And that's the goal that we want to see. We actually want to see people trading, making payments for apples and cars and houses and all of their goods and services that they make. We want to see people trading, day-to-day trade, and using Zash as the currency for those transactions. And ultimately, for that, we need a market price. Now, that market price is has people on an exchange as buyers and sellers, but you know, if we have a whole lot of people coming into the exchanges trying to sell, that defeats the object. We're going to have the price crash. There are not going to be a lot of buyers who want to buy a token that everyone's dumping, and so we want to be very careful about doing two things. One, we want to create market where people are actually trading between themselves. And so that's called a network. We want to create a network of scale and size. And what that does is that actually means that ZASH begins to have value for people living on the ground in Zimbabwe, where they don't have to, you don't have to try and sell it on the exchange for something of value and then use that to pay for your daily goods and services. The second thing that does is that it stimulates
Philip, we have lost your...
Can't see anything.
established a currency system that had a significant network effect in Zimbabwe, it would actually add a lot of value to people. Ultimately, you know, the value is gained in the network. And when each additional person joins the network, now there's more people that can trade and transact between each other. That's the magic that we want to be creating. That's the dynamic we want to be creating. So we've created a couple of rules for people to be able to sell on the exchange. But we need to emphasize that our thinking is, you know, we want people to fulfill the rules, but we're going to be watching the market liquidity very carefully, and it'll take some time for us to be lifting restrictions before for people to sell on the exchange. We want to see a trading network happen in Zimbabwe first, and then we can slowly, organically begin to allow some selling on the exchange. So that's sort of where we're at. You know, we've had a lot of people. You know, it's amazing, this community. You know, even if you look at this this chat, we've got 90 people on our call, and we're so honored by the community. You're so honored by the sense of goodwill that people have had. What we found is that on our communities, people have begun to almost demand, you know, us to be further along the journey than we are. You know, where's your application? You know, what about USSD? Tell us about, you know, all of the additional things that we should be doing. And we're so passionate about doing that. But we're just going to need time to be developing our network. We understand that the situation for everyone is very desperate right now, and we want to be working as hard as we can to create a solution that people can use. But just bear with us, please, as we work hard. We're on your team, you're on our team, and together as a community we can do this. I mean, just the last thing to say is that it's been such a privilege being a part of the team that we're in. You know, from every level, there's such a sense of belief that we're actually about to change history. You know, that there has not been a decentralized currency system that's worked for an entire nation ever. If this works, it has the potential not only to revolutionize Zimbabwe, but it has the potential to be a leader for the whole world. I mean, no joke, no joke. It's remarkable that we've come so far, and you know, it's amazing that we actually might like just pull this off. It's really exciting. You know, we've had since we launched, in total we've had 120,000 sign-ups to our system. I mean, 120,000 is the first level of an email, someone putting in their email. They then need to validate their email, then they need to put in their one-time PIN on their phone, and then start enabling their first transaction. So there's a lot of things that people need to do to finally kind of engage with the network, but it's growing, and the sense of belief is there, and we're about to change history. And if you're part of this call, this is a moment in history for us. It'll take time for sure, but but there's something really special and magical about what's happening right now. And so we honor and respect every one of you that's part of this community. Please give us your questions. We will try and get to all of them, but there's a lot of people on the call, and so we're just grateful for you taking the time to join us, and we probably need to do this more often. But from me, that's all. Back to you, Laswet. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Philip. Guys, everyone who does have a question, like I said, for the benefit of those who are still joining us, if you have questions directed to Philip based on what he said, please type them on the chat board and we will address them afterwards. Can I ask people to stop their videos, please? We just want to be considerate to those who do not have enough data so that they can be part of the meeting to the end. So please mute your mics, stop your videos. Let this be an audio only meeting. All right, thank you so much. So Philip has basically given you a brief about what we are doing and where we are going. So he dealt with the update from the team, the next steps. The next thing on the agenda is buying and selling of ZASH platforms. So let's talk about the buying and selling of ZASH that happened when we enabled payments. There are people who came to say, is this allowed? We have been scammed. Can we have scammers blocked? Can we have our transactions reversed? I want to make it clear that as ZimboCash ourselves, we do not have any e-commerce website. We don't facilitate buying and selling of ZASH. We don't buy ZASH ourselves. It's not our business, but in the same vein, we are excited to see that people peer-to-peer are buying and selling ZASH. But I would also hasten to say that we are excited. Some people are holding on to ZASH because they have seen the vision. They know that the value of the tokens will grow. Then you have others who are just interested in selling their ZASH, funding probably just using a few RTGS bond notes or US they use, they consume and they are gone. There is nothing wrong with that. But if you zoom out and catch the vision of what we are trying to do, you realize that this is a currency that has value, and the value is only going to grow as more and more people come onto the network. And it's going viral. All the social media platforms, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, people were talking about ZASH. So it's good to keep your tokens. There are other businesses that have opened online. We had an issue with a few people who were branding their sites as ZimboCash. So I need to make it categorically clear that using our logos, using our word marks without express permission from us is actually prohibited. Our logos, wordmarks are copyrighted, and no one should be using them without express permission from us. We have also come, others have come to us and say, please give us logos and wordmarks that will tell people that in our shops, on our online platforms, for our goods and services, we accept ZASH. We have listened to that. We are in the process of coming up with logos and wordmarks that service providers, vendors can use if they are accepting ZASH as means of payment. So there are groups that have been created, ZIMBOCASH deals, ZIMBOCASH Skrill deals, ZIMBOCASH Forex deals, others claiming to be representatives of ZIMBOCASH. We do not have any other groups on Telegram. The main group, the ZIMBOCASH group, is the group that we have, and we are not behind anyone who is buying and selling ZASH. Anyone who has come up with a Facebook platform to sell goods accepting ZASH. This is just for the benefit of others who may have thought that ZIMBOCASH itself has a marketplace. We do not have that. Yes, now I will let Anna, who is part of the team, to come in and say something briefly. Then we will move on to the ambassador program and the most exciting part, feedback from you all, and then question and answer. Anna, over to you.
Thanks, Leslie. I'm going to keep this fairly short. So what a crazy last couple of months it has been. The lockdown has truly been a boon for ZIMBOCASH. We launched on Bitam Global in May. We upgraded the system in June, and we've been overwhelmed by the support from the Zimbabweans. We've got lots of exciting things to come still. We're going to add more functionalities, and unfortunately, there's been a small group of people who always take advantage of the system, and that's what's happened. And we've had to take action and improve our systems. I would really like to thank everybody for their support. It's been overwhelming. Social media, emails, it's just, yeah, we're overwhelmed. And I'd especially like to thank the ambassadors for their support, their emotional support by being so excited that it's contagious, and we become really excited and we persevere through all this hard work and late nights. Helping answer any questions on social media, and then most of all, helping with the support queries. We've been inundated with support queries, and if it wasn't for the ambassadors, I don't think we'd cope. So thanks everybody, and we're looking forward to the journey together.
Thank you, Anna. I see that our meeting, some are still joining, but soon enough it will be full. We are making a recording of the meeting, and we'll give minutes of the meeting for the benefit of those who have failed to join us in this meeting. Now, people have come to us and say they wanted to be ZIMBOCASH ambassadors. So at the end of last year, we had to suspend ambassador applications because we wanted to focus on the tech. We wanted to focus on delivering the tech. But the ambassador program is still running, and we will resume applications soon. We will make an announcement when we are taking new applications. So you'll see that on our social media, in your emails as well. And I will ask Nashe to come in. Nashe is going to tell you about the ambassador program, his experience as an ambassador. Then we move on. Nashe will just talk to you briefly to let you know what is required for somebody to be an ambassador and his experience so far as an ambassador. Over to you, Nashe.
Right, hello everyone. Greetings to the entire ZIMBOCASH community. It's quite exciting to have everyone here today. Right, being an ambassador is quite an experience, especially right now. I'm sure all the other ambassadors can agree. The phones don't stop buzzing, the messages don't stop coming in. I became an ambassador as soon as I saw the first TechZim article. That was back in November 2018. And I said, I definitely want to be a part of this. When you really catch the vision and the mission of the project in essence, and you see the potential that this project has, if you are a true Zimbo, you just kind of feel it. You feel that desire to want to be a part of the change. I felt it, and I've always wanted to be a part of some kind of transformation for the country, for the betterment of the country, and this was the one for me. Being an ambassador is not really difficult. A lot of people think that you have to know a lot about crypto. It doesn't require you to know much about crypto. You don't have to be familiar. You don't have to be an experienced trader. What I can say is you just is to have the right heart, understand the vision and the values. Integrity is a very big aspect of being an ambassador, and it's a great experience because you get to meet a lot of different people from across the nation, and also even those that are outside. You connect and you meet a lot of different people. You know, relationships are something that we overlook and we undermine, especially in today's times. So I encourage everyone who has the heart and wants to be an ambassador and is not scared to go out there and tell their neighbors, friends, even enemies about ZIMBOCASH. Thank you. Back to you, team.
Thank you, Nashe. So that is our ambassador program. When we are accepting new applications, we will announce on our social media. You also receive emails to that effect. I must say that in as much as we are not taking ambassadors, new ambassadors now, there is nothing that stops you from acting like an ambassador. One of the things that we consider is referrals. If we have a passion for ZIMBOCASH and what we are doing, and our business is to make ZIMBOCASH a national currency, to make sure that every Zimbabwean becomes part of this, because we want to transform our nation. We want ZIMBOCASH to be an alternative currency that is inclusive. We want everyone to be part of ZIMBOCASH. That is why we are busy trying to get USSD functionality so that even those in the rural areas, even and others without smartphones can be part of the network. So that is our ambassador program. You are free to act as ambassadors now to educate and empower people with knowledge about what ZIMBOCASH is and what we are trying to achieve. It will count in your favor for the time when you apply to be an ambassador. So thank you. We are moving on to the part of feedback from you, and as we are quite a number. There is 100 right now in the room. If there is anyone who feels strongly that they need to give feedback via audio, please, there is an option to show your hand. You raise your hand, I'll recognize you and I will unmute your mic. Then you can say something. So may you please utilize that feature. Otherwise, all the feedback and questions, can we type them and the team will come in to attend to the questions. There is one who raised, there are people who have raised hands. Please don't unmute yourselves. I will announce your name and unmute your mic, and then you can say something. We'll start with Gilas. You can say something. I'm going to give a chance to just 5 people for the audio section. Otherwise, everyone else, let's type our questions and feedback. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the time which you have given me to speak, sir. We really appreciate the platform which you are making. We have seen other platforms like Bitcoin blockchain, but we really appreciate your site as a new thing in Zimbabwe. Really appreciate it. But then, say the only thing which we are complaining as customers is that I think next time when you are about to close the system, you're supposed to notify us, because some of us need an update when you are about to block the system. That's basically what I have to say.
All right, thank you, Giles. I will address that one when it's time for question and answer. But thank you for your feedback. I will move on to Sami. Let us keep it short. Sami, over to you.
Oh, okay. Thanks, guys, and welcome to everyone. I just want to say the ZIMBOCASH team has done a brilliant job. Honestly, my submission is just, I'm amazed. We have an online platform that we created, and the feedback from people is just amazing. So you guys, we are betting on you that you should pull this thing up, because people are ready for this. People are really taking risk and offering products and services that I never knew they would do that. So I'm really excited, and I can't wait for this, honestly. That's all I wanted to say, and congratulations to the team for launching such an amazing tech.
Thank you, Sami, for those kind words. We really appreciate those kind words. They encourage us, and we are grateful that we have people who see the value in what we are trying to do. This is a solution. I'll be honest with you, there is no big corporate entity out there coming in and are behind ZIMBOCASH. No, it's individuals who are passionate about Zimbabwe. I am Zimbabwean, there are other Zimbabweans in the team. We have over 353 ambassadors in Zim. And we also have some non-Zimbabweans who are passionate about Zimbabwe. They've stayed in Zimbabwe at some point. They've visited Zimbabwe at some point. So we are passionate about Zimbabwe. I will go to Asani. Is the third one. Asani, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the time that you've given me, sir. I'm really excited to be part of ZIMBOCASH. I'm all the way from Marsh West in Kariba. I joined the ZIMBOCASH back in 2018, and then only to resume this year and find out that ZIMBOCASH is now trending. Forgive me, my voice is kind of rusty. But what I'm really excited that you have given us a chance to be ambassadors to our own people. So I'm going to spread a word about ZIMBOCASH, and I'm really excited and to see where this is going.
Thank you, Asani. We appreciate that. I will give time to, I'm looking for a lady. Tanya, can you please speak?
Oh, yeah, this is my sister, but now she moved. In fact, we have the same issue. We are currently here in China. We joined this ZIMBOCASH when we faced like something about it. We are pretty sure educated about this advancement. Now, the issue is one. Since we joined, we are unable to accumulate. Like, if we are willing to buy, now I think it's a good opportunity. If anyone wants to buy, to keep it so like his or her wallet, we are unable to do that, and we've been like requesting information like when we may be able to do this transaction. Up now, I think there's no a clear date. Maybe please like have an approximate date, like when we can be able to transact, because it's really like it can give it more valuable to it, as we can be able to transact with our parents back home and the children back home. We have to send money back and forth, and I think it's a very, very good platform to do that. We can also give much value to it.
All right. Thank you, Tanya. That payments functionality for both Zim and Diaspora, when are they going live? That will be addressed in the question and answer session. I'm going to take two more people. Margaret, can you please, it's your turn. Margaret.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I would love to know what assurances we have. Like, you started, some people are saying they joined to be ambassadors in 2018, and the platform sort of went quiet. What assurances do we have that if we rally behind ZIMBOCASH and we go out there to our neighbors and friends and we rally them to join, is it going to kick off, or it's going to be something? Because right now you're saying you're not taking ambassadors, but it's going to be our word, and not we need the confidence to know that what we're going to be advising people to do is really going to kick off. And when you're going to be picking up ambassadors, can we have more female ambassadors? Because you really go out there daring and you're excited about ZIMBOCASH. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Margaret. We have, like I said, we do have over 353 ambassadors in the whole of Zimbabwe, and I will say that half of that are actually female. So we really do. We are intentional in making sure that there is equal representation, but then again, it's also it's voluntary. You have to come up and say, I want to be an ambassador. So, but we are intentional in making sure that there is equal representation between the genders. Thank you for, that is all for the feedback time. Now we are going to address the questions that have been submitted on the chat board. I will ask Philip to address a few questions. Philip, the questions that people are having are as follows, if you can take that down. When is the transaction feature coming back? When are payments coming back? You will address as well why we only allowed Zimbabweans, those living in Zimbabwe, to transact. When are those in the diaspora when are they going to be allowed to make payments as well? Philip, over to you.
Thanks, Leswet. So perhaps I could sort of answer Margaret Chowke's question first. Thank you for the questions, everyone. So the question asked was, what assurances are you going to give us that you're going to succeed? And the answer is we're giving no assurances. We're putting our lives into this. the whole team has put their lives into this, and we're doing it because we believe in a vision. But we have no guarantees. We're pioneering a future. We're creating something from nothing, and all we have is a vision, and that vision is being expressed in people who believing in the vision and interrogating it for themselves. We would encourage you to do the same. Read the white paper, come to terms with your own risks, and then make a decision. And we invite you to be a part of the community. I mean, one of the things that the other gentleman said is, you guys need to let us know when you're doing things, because we are as customers, sort of, we need feedback, and we appreciate that. We want to be as amazing to people in our community as possible. But I don't think you need to think of yourselves as customers, because really what you are is people in our community, and we're also people in the community, and we're trying hard to do our bit. And your question, the question is for you, how are you expanding the community? Because this is for everyone. This is not something that we're trying to kind of bring into you to sell and like make money. I mean, I must just sort of highlight something. We've approached investors after investors after investors, many of them. Feels like we've been around like most countries of the world with speaking to investors. Investors are like, are you crazy? This doesn't have a business model for us as investors. What you're selling is a dream. You're selling a vision, and so that's been the kind of the conversation. I mean, we're a lot further along, and we've had people come alongside, but they're not coming alongside because they are seeing dollar signs around kind of a profit and customers and how do we get money from customers. They're coming alongside because they believe in the vision as well. And so I think the thing is to say is we give no guarantees. We can't give you guarantees. We're creating the future out of we have a vision, and that vision is to see a changed future. But we don't know what the future holds, and our vision is so radical that it almost seems preposterous if you look at it from like a kind of a typical investment perspective. But what we're seeing is that this is actually something. ZimboCash is an idea whose time has come, and if you don't believe in the team and the vision and what it is that we're doing, that's fine. That's fine. We like there are a lot of people who do, and yet we invite you into that space. Let me just answer the kind of questions around when are payments coming back. We are working hard on it. Effectively, there are two aspects of what we need to deliver, and there are two equally important ones. The first is we need to deliver a decentralized currency for Zimbabwe. Okay, and we've been moving ahead with that. The second thing we need to deliver is a mechanism to validate everyone in the country. And that's actually a bloomin' difficult thing. It's really difficult. How do we validate everyone? Make sure that they're unique. Make sure that they're not scamming the system. And what we found is that as soon as we try, we're going to get a whole host of people trying to scam the system. So we've got to find solutions. We've interviewed copious numbers of identity providers, and part of that is to what we've realized is that there's basically sort of two things we need to do. We need to get a copy of an identity document, and we need to have what's called a liveness test. Is the person actually the same person as what they say on the identity document? And we need to work on that. And we've got, like, I can assure you that we're spending long meetings talking through these things and like engaging with our IT developers. And we've got all these great plans, and our IT developers are saying, you know, give us time. And we're saying, oh, well, look, we need to do this quicker, and they're saying we need to do this properly. And there's that tension in the team, and you're just going to have patience with us. I understand how inconvenient it is. We're not trying to kind of like raise a customer base as much as we're trying to deliver on a vision with a community. And please just have patience with us. Last question is, why are only Zimbabweans allowed to transact and not the diaspora? It's exactly the same reason I've just talked about, is that we thought we could rely on a cell phone as a unique identifier for Zimbabweans. And that meant that if Zimbabweans live in Zimbabwe and you can validate their phone, you know that at least they're not Russians, and or some other kind of country or jurisdiction of people. At least they're not spam artists from another country. They actually live in Zimbabwe. But we've realized that we need to validate Zimbabweans directly with an ID. The same happens with the diaspora. We're going to need to actually confirm that the person that's being validated in the diaspora actually is a Zimbabwean. And that's a harder question than you think. So you're just going to have patience on it with us, and we'll let you know when it's up and running. And that's the best we can give you. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Philip. I will answer a few questions, and I will give Anna a chance to answer these following questions. Anna, if you can take note. Can we trade ZASH on Bitam Global? And can one transfer ZASH from Bitam Global to the ZimboCash wallet? I'm going to answer these questions. Will Zim not be against ZimboCash because, and USSD, I think, because they won't have any control? Now, let me speak briefly about issues that some have confused. In the attitude in Zim back then was against crypto as far as the government was concerned. There is the banning of Golix that people always refer to and say, won't ZimboCash banned because they banned Golix? I will make a distinction. Golix was an exchange, just like Bitam Global, except that they were in Zim. They had set up shop, they had relationships with banks, so they were bound to adhere to the laws that regulates banks and financial institutions. And the Reserve Bank gave a directive to banks to stop processing all payments that related to Golix transactions. That is how Golix was shut down. But if people followed that, they would know that Golix went to court and they managed to win that court case. Yes. Now, ZimboCash is different from Golix because we are not a cryptocurrency exchange. We do not have relationships with local banks. And so right now, the only way that ZimboCash can be shut down at the moment would be to shut down the internet for the whole country. I see there's another question there. Where are the offices? We are a decentralized team. We do not have central offices where someone can come and say, we are shutting you down. The team, we have others in South Africa, we have others in other countries, We have others in Zim as well. So we are decentralized like that. Will ZASH be legalized? This feeds onto the question that I was answering. Zimbabwe, the government of Zimbabwe has since changed its attitude when it comes to fintech companies and cryptocurrencies. I will refer you to the last two monetary policy statements. You will see that the language in those statements has changed to, they are now warming up to the idea of cryptocurrencies. They have even set up teams committees to look at regulations to make sure that there is regulation for fintech companies as well as cryptocurrency companies. So it is our hope that when that regulatory sandbox comes up, it will be favorable to fintech companies and crypto companies as well. What happens when the government tries to shut down ZASH? I will answer that with a question. We all know that the government tried to make sure that we don't use US dollars in Zimbabwe. Did that work? Why didn't it work? It's difficult to enforce a ban on something that you have no control over. People still informally were using US dollars to pay for goods and services, to the extent that the government had to give in and say, okay, use US dollars again, and now we can all use US dollars again. It is easy to enforce a ban on something that we have control over. The government can today change, say we are not using RTGS dollars anymore, here's a new currency. The government can come in and say we have added more money into the circulation because they have control over it. So that is the answer to that question. And that is assuming that the government is still against cryptocurrencies, which is not reflected in the monetary policy statements they've brought out. They are warming up to cryptocurrencies. So we might actually see our government for the first time embracing cryptocurrencies. So we choose to be optimistic. And over to you, Anna, answering questions about the exchanges.
Okay, the question was, can you transfer your ZASH into Bitam Global? And can you buy ZASH in Bitam Global and transfer to the ZASH wallet? So currently, no. There are plans. The plan is to link those two wallets, and we're working on it. Having said that, after we launched ZimboCash, everywhere on all social media platforms, people were asking, how do we sell ZASH? How do we sell ZASH? So in a way, I'm very grateful that those two aren't linked yet, because so that the Zimbabweans can't sell their ZASH yet. So we've got two communities. On the one hand, we've got the Zimbabwean community who we want them to use ZASH on a day-to-day trades. And then we've got the investor community who will look at how well ZASH is doing and want to participate in this and participate in the Zim economy. So we're very, we would like people to believe in ZASH, use ZASH in the day-to-day transaction, grow the network, grow the value of ZASH because people believe in it. And maybe in the end, they won't want to sell ZASH at all once the ZASH wallet and the Bitam Global wallet are linked. So no, it's not linked at the moment, but it will be.
Thank you, Anna. Now there is another question. Philip, I'll ask you to take these two questions. With most cryptocurrencies, there is an ICO. ZimboCash did not do that. I will ask you, Philip, to also talk about ICO, IEO. We did not do that. Does this mean there is an angel investor, a funder behind ZIMBOCASH and those 4.5 billion tokens. Then after that, also deal with another question from the white paper. There's a quote from the white paper. Can admins please explain the send ZASH being charged? And this part says Tron network can allow up to 20 transactions for free. So why are we charging the transaction fee when on our white paper we say transactions on the Tron network are free? Philip, over to you.
Thank you, Laswet. Okay, so great questions. I'm actually, I answered that particular question. The person that asked that question also asked it on the Telegram group. You can go to the Telegram and read it. But in a nutshell, we haven't done an ICO. Our goal is not to create, I mean, typically with ICOs, you have this big pump and dump. People pump up the price, they sell, they dump all these tokens in the market to actually raise the money, and you get this huge price increase and then this price collapse. With most tokens, that's why the cryptocurrency market's got such a bad rap. We actually don't want to see the price collapse. In fact, our price graph actually reflects deeply what it is that's going on in our community. We want to see the price going up. And that's not our, we're not trying to, you know, our goal is long-term value. So when I say we want to see price going up, as in we want to create long-term value for the system, and not after short-term prices and spikes. And so we felt that an ICO wouldn't work, but you can read a little bit more about it on our Telegram group. Next thing is, the question was regarding why is the transaction fee? Well, we believe that it's important to build on a revenue model so that this thing is sustainable. And there isn't a transaction fee for you, but there is absolutely, when I say isn't a transaction fee, there's no transaction fee on the Tron network for you, but we absolutely pay a transaction fee for the network. And currently, any transaction fee we get is in ZASH. So the goal is ultimately to create an ecosystem that's sustainable. Our goal is to also add a whole lot of value-added services, and for that we will also charge transaction fees. I mean, it's ultimately we want it to be financially sustainable as well as we develop this ecosystem. I think I just want to ask a question that hasn't been, answer a question that hasn't been asked. So a lot of people on the call have basically asked, and everywhere we go, the people are asking, when are you going to deliver all these services? As in, you know, we need remittance services, and we need the diaspora enabled, and we need this and this and this. When are you going to do this? And honestly, we're working very hard. I think my reflective question is each person that comes in the community, every person on this call, if you're on this call, the real question is, what's my role in the community? And I can encourage you, the best thing you can do is to talk to other people about it, just to create discussion. We want to see the discussion grow. We want to actually see people educated around money printing. And the only people that are going to do that in your community is you. You know, we need people to. The value of our network grows as people join the network. So it's up to you. And the next thing to say is that we would really appreciate if you, as community members, would go onto the various Bitum global networks and go and talk about ZASH there, and that stimulates international interest. And that would be very helpful. But constantly the thing is the question for me, which is, if you're on the call, the question is, how do you grow the network? Because it's really up to you. Ultimately, you're going to see payments in ZASH happening in your community, not because we are telling your community to do it, but because you're telling your community to do it. And so we just want to leave that with you. Please go and talk to your neighbors, get onto the Telegram groups, get onto Facebook and Twitter, and talk about this and let people know and spread the message of sound money and how sound money can transform Zimbabwe. And really also talk on the BitHum global groups, please. That would be very helpful.
Thank you, Philip. I will address another question here. Somebody asked, what do we mean when we say word marks? Well, word mark is a term that is used to refer to a specific design for the name of any organization. It's different from logos and trademarks in that a word mark usually contains text only. So in our case, the name ZIMBOCASH and how we have designed it, you are not allowed, you are prohibited from taking that name and using it as part of your own name. For example, coming up with ZIMBOCASH deals or ZIMBOCASH markets, it is prohibited. You are not allowed to use our logos, word marks without any express permission from us. Then the other one is, please give us warning when you decide to take down functionalities for maintenance. That is noted. We will give warning. People will get notice that if we ever take down any functionality, we will notify you all. I'm trying to look at questions. Some of the questions have been asked. We have people just sending suggestions. Just block ghost accounts. We will take note of all the suggestions that are given. We are trying to just look at the questions so that we answer questions. We know that people have other things that they would be doing, but have taken time to be part of this meeting. Will ZASH also be linked to blockchain exchange as well, or you stick to BitHum global network only? I think the person was asking whether we are going to consider listing on other cryptocurrency exchanges, and the short answer is yes. BitHum Global is just the first exchange that we decided on, and they loved our project. And BitHum Global is one of the biggest in the world. So it gives us a sense of pride that they loved our project so much that they decided to list us there. But definitely, we are going to list on other exchanges. How far are you with the ZIMBOCASH mobile app? When is the ZASH circulation on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko going to be updated? I'm sure these are questions that probably some might not know what that means. But if you check on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, they have these statistics that they give out on our token. And when it comes to circulation on the amount that they cite as is in circulation, normally what they consider, they wait until a token is listed on at least 3 exchanges before they can update. But we do have a team, because our project is unique, we do have a team that is in constant contact with them. you might see a change on that number. Is there an age limit on people to join ZimboCash? Our age limit is 13 years. You must be 13 years and above to join ZimboCash. But obviously, you will need to do KYC which includes providing your ID number, which includes having an ID itself. So the minimum age limit to get an ID in Zimbabwe, I think that is the answer to that one. Where do ZASH charging fees go to? Philip answered that one, so I'll skip it. Is ZASH going to have its own blockchain in future? It is on our white paper. Philip, do you just want to say something on that one while I look at the other questions?
Sorry, I actually didn't hear the question.
Is ZimboCash going to have its own native blockchain?
We hope so. The thing is that currently the technology works perfectly, and we're not unhappy with the technology. It only will make sense for us to develop our own blockchain if this becomes truly national in its scale. I mean, the amount of cost that it takes for us to develop a blockchain is it's unreal, and certainly a lot more money than we have right now. And we're quite happy with the Tron network. There's no need for us to get our own blockchain. Someone asked about private keys. Private keys is the same as selling on an exchange. Basically, taking the keys and being able to either sell them or transact them with other people. And that's something that we will monitor over time, as I mentioned earlier.
All right. Thank you, Philip. We are left with only 10 minutes. We have many questions. We will answer as many as we can. But all the questions, we are taking note of them. They will be answered, and the questions will be provided in a summary of the meeting. So if your question is not answered during this call, please do not lose heart. We are going to address all the questions, and you will see all the answers in the summary of the meeting that will circulate. So please don't lose that. Someone, okay, it's somebody asking, is this going to be a once-off, or we are going to have more of these? Yes, we would love to have more of these. We will look at having them regularly, but we will advise on when we are going to be having the meetings. We will spread the news just like we did with this one. You see that the maximum number of participants is only 100, and our community is way over that number. So we will be having more of these, but we will announce as and when. We also have a question. Okay, some are asking questions that have been answered already. I will skip those and we'll include them in the summary. I've been assisting people to open accounts with my phone since they won't be having internet. Is that going to affect my account? There is nothing wrong in assisting people to open accounts using your device, but you must make sure that they put in their own details, including their own phone numbers, because you will not be allowed to use one phone number for multiple accounts on the system. I'm looking at other questions that have not been asked. I think, okay, engaging businesses is a good idea. Why not offer a few tokens to these retail shops so that they promote ZASH? For example, bakers in Pick and Pay a few tokens, then people start trading with ZASH, thus spreading the gospel of ZASH. That is a good idea, but with these big retailers, they need to wait until we are given legal tender status for them to start accepting ZASH. But it is a good idea, and it's so easy to convince small to medium-sized businesses and big businesses to accept ZASH. If you know the EcoCash story, you will know that when EcoCash started, some businesses didn't want to accept, but because of the strength of EcoCash and even other mobile money services, when you have a big network, say for starters, 1 million people or 2 million people, it becomes easy to convince any retailer to start accepting a currency, because that's potentially 1 million customers that can come to that retailer if they start accepting ZASH. So we're focusing on growing the network. Once the network is big enough, you will see these retailers scrambling to be part of the ZASH community. So let's focus on growing our network, and some of these things, they'll fall into place. Okay, we are left only with 5 minutes. So I will round up. All the questions that I did not get into will be attended to in our summary that we will make public as well. So you will get the answer to your question if it was not answered. Thank you all for making time to attend this meeting. I will just go around and give Anna a chance to say a few parting words. Philip, Nashe, and then we are done. Anna, over to you.
Thank you for your support again. The fact that you participated in this call for an hour and a half means that you've invested in this project, and we really appreciate it. Let's go from strength to strength, and we'll chat to you next time.
Thank you, Anna. Nashe, over to you.
Right. Thanks, team. Thank you, everyone, for joining the conversation today. Let's make this happen. Let's try to make it a habit. Like as the team has said, we'll try to do this more often. Most importantly, let's also engage as communities. You don't necessarily have to be an official ambassador to start preaching the gospel of ZASH. As you can see, the mission, the vision, the team's vision is quite transparent. We want to establish a decentralized currency for Zim, and it's a win-win. And let's run with it. Exciting times are ahead.
Thank you, Nashe. Philip?
Right. I just want to close with two things, and it's really two primary core values. The first is that we believe that when you fix the supply of money, you actually change a nation, and you create something that people can grow in trade and savings. And that's what we want to do. We want to fix the supply of money. We believe that money printing causes inflation, that inflation is very destructive for people, and that the only way to solve this problem is to fix the supply of money. The second core value that we have is one of honor. And we just ask in this process that you would embrace this as well. We want to treat people with respect. People on our team, people that agree with us, people that disagree with us, even people that want to harm us and hurt us. We want to treat with honor and respect. And with these two core values, we believe we're building a community that really can change Zimbabwe. And this is a moment in history where we are going to do that.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you all for making the time to attend the call. And we are excited. We are excited that we do have your support. I know some people did not get a chance to say whatever, to ask their questions. Some people probably didn't, they had follow-up questions, but this is only the beginning. We are going to have more of these meetings so that we engage. We will also look into having educational meetings where it is just question and answer. You ask all questions around cryptocurrency in general and ZimboCash in general. So this is a pilot. We wanted to see how it pans out, and we are excited. ZimboCash is ours. It's for Zimbabweans by Zimbabweans. There is no one out there who owns ZimboCash. It is owned by all of us who are in the community. Thank you. Let's go out there. Make sure that all our friends and families are signed up. Let us make ZimboCash viral. Let's go on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and let us just tag ZimboCash whenever you see a piece of news that has to do with money supply in the country, inflation figures, tag ZimboCash. When mobile money operators are banned, tag ZimboCash. Let's make ZimboCash go viral. We thank you once again for making time for attending this meeting. We look forward to engaging with you in our next meeting, and we will spread the invitation as we did. Thank you. We have come to the end of this meeting. Have a good night to those who are in Africa. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.